People need to feel your defenses. In life, mistakes happen, right? People cross your boundaries. People do things that don't make you happy. And people are sometimes very aware of those things. And they observe your reaction and make judgment out of you based on your reactions. Too many people have a weak emotional immune system. They have a weak emotional response to disrespect. They have a weak emotional response whenever somebody doesn't want them back. And it causes them to get out of character. And rather than be on the defensive, which is actually the highest form of warfare, they start getting on the offensive. And when I mean the defensive, I don't mean getting emotionally defensive, right? I mean that your fighting style, your dating style is more on the defensive, meaning you let people come to you. You let people make the first move. You develop a threatening presence so that it can deter people. So you don't go out of your way to over pursue someone. You let them come to you. And what that shows people, it shows that you have high value because you're not in so much need that you go out of your way to make some people like you, right? So remember, a weak emotional immune response is a reflection that you have low self-esteem. So the first thing you have to do is that a strong immune system comes with an outward manifestation of strength. So learn to develop a threatening presence before they attack. The way that people assess whether or not you have a strong emotional immune system is first through your nonverbal cues. Are you overly responsive, overly emotional in your face? Do you have a high-pitched voice when you're talking to people? Do you respond fast? Is your reaction to them too intense? Meaning like you like fucking like a creepazoid. You know what I'm saying? Intense nonverbal cues reflects a weak emotional system because you can't control your reactions. If you were actually in control of your reactions, you're actually going to be a little bit slower in response, in your movement. You're going to be more like a cat. When you have no emotion, when you have a weak emotional response, you can't control your emotions, so you become like a damn golden retriever. So when you develop this, and that means limiting your nonverbal cues in your face, right? Like I said, if you're smiling like this, you smile like this. If you respond like this, you respond like this. It's just slower. And that shows people that there's strength behind you, because you're able to be so under control. So that prevents people from testing you, so that you don't have to use your emotional immune system. But once they do attack you, that's when they can start making judgment out of you. And when they attack you, and your response to it is really going to set the tone of this whole relationship, right? So they disrespect you, they offend you, they do things that cross your boundaries. And if you have a strong emotional response, a strong emotional immune system, you're gonna feel offended, and you're gonna feel a certain sense of disgust, and you're gonna almost get turned off by them, like a literal turn off. When you have a weak emotional response, you get turned on by their disrespect. And when I mean turned on, I mean you start to do things to get more of their validation. Where if you have a strong emotional response, you actually get turned off by it, and you start pulling away, and it's an actual feeling of, ugh, I don't like you. And what happens is that people sense that, and it increases their respect for you, and it tells them, okay, I want this person with me. This person is not easily gullible. This person thinks with their heads, right? So how do you do that? Well, the first thing is that you can't be dating. You got to have a plan, a long-term plan. When you have a long-term plan about what you want in your relationships, long-term, right, it'll give you clarity in your mind. The problem is that a lot of people don't know what they really want, so they change what they want based on the person. And people sense that, and it's almost like there's a weakness to your actions whenever you don't know what you want. You're easily swayed depending on how persuasive somebody is. And that makes it, and people sense that. But when you know exactly what you want, there's a firmness about you. And there's that firmness becomes a stronger reality. Like the strongest reality wins. That saying. That reality is the one who wants it more wins. So if you want this, what happens is that there's a part of you that just cannot compromise. It's like and they'll sense that as a strong immune response, and it makes them respect you, makes them be a little bit more intimidated by you. And what happens is that if love develops in this type of way, it'll create the type of love that actually is symbiotic between the two. And the next thing that happens is that when you have a larger purpose, when you know exactly what you want, you write it down, you write down what you're willing to accept, what you're not willing to accept. What will happen is that you learn to save your energy, your emotional energy. You don't fight every battle. You don't try to pursue every person. And if the person doesn't want you, you don't take that as a personal affront. You just realize you guys want different things, and you're able to leave quickly. Weak emotional responses get offended at the fact that some people don't want them back. And it creates chaos inside, and because they have no firmness about what they want, those emotions are easily swayed in multiple directions depending on who they're with. There's no firmness. They don't feel their feet in the ground. So you don't try to win everyone over. You know how to discard people based on the standards that you have quickly. And what would happen is that it'll keep you emotionally clean, because when you try to work it out with random ass motherfuckers who are not good for you, what would happen is that those experiences linger on and they stay in your mind, and you kind of get resentful at having to deal with that kind of stuff. And depending on who you're with, it might sabotage your future relationships. Let's just say you stay with someone that cheated on you, and and you didn't think about putting that as one of your standards. They're asking for forgiveness. And because you don't have a clear knowledge about what you want and don't want, you forgive them. Because when you like someone, you're willing to move the goalposts for them. And you end up being in relationships and tolerating people who cheat. But what happens is that you slowly build that up. And the way you build that up is because you didn't have a standard. It's like people who do drugs, right? A lot of people who do drugs, the reason why they started doing drugs is because they never made up their minds to never do it. They always left it in the open. But there are some people who, from childhood, make up their minds. Either they had parents who did drugs, or they saw somebody who ruined their lives with drugs, and so it becomes a conscious standard. So that when it does happen, they say no. This is what happens when you have an unclear, like when you have a desires that are more vague, that are more abstract. They really have no power. They have no hold on you, and they really don't affect you. They really don't affect you in the positive. It just gives you a sense of control, a sense of a goal. But whenever you have pressure put on you, when somebody tests your true strength, you end up just going after people who don't really have what you want. And so you move your standards, and people can sense when you move those standards, and they lose respect for that. Right? You should always be looking to show people your defenses. And this is why it's okay to be looking for bullshit. Right? Because they're gonna bullshit you. And you want to find something so that you could tell them, I don't like that. Those things, people want to hear that. I'm telling you, if a person doesn't want someone who calls them out on their bullshit, they just want someone to manipulate you. You know? They just want somebody to manipulate. And every time, because this is the thing, people know when they're fucking with you. People know when they're disrespecting you. And when you let them get away with it, they act like they didn't see it. They act like they're not aware. But you know they're aware, because next time they become more bolder in their disrespect. The most attractive a woman has looked in my eyes is when I see their defenses. When I see their unwillingness to compromise in certain things. That shows me you have standards, and that shows me that I want to be with you, because if you choose me, it meant that you chose me based on standards. You don't want to be with someone who you could sense has no standards, who don't have a limit about what they want, who don't have a limit about what, if you do this, I'll do this, if you do this, I'll do that. Rather, they just go with the wind based on how much they like you. And if they don't like you, they start putting strong rules on you. But if they like you, all the rules just go away. Your emotional immune system is what keeps people from taking you for granted. And too many of you guys have a weak emotional immune system. That's why you have to develop a meditation practice. And meditation practice will literally liberate you from your emotional weak immune system. It will liberate you. It will strengthen your ability to handle pain. And once you're able to handle pain, then you're able to set standards and keep them. And this wall that they feel will draw them to you. I'm telling you, man, it's just how that is. It's just how that is. And this is the thing. This is another thing. Is that another thing about your defenses is in your face. You put on a defensive face, like, you really gonna do that? You really gonna do that? Or you're not being clear with me? Oh, come on, man. Like, I don't like the way this is working out. The serious face is part of the intimidation. It's part of the intimidation, but it's also part of your defenses. So you got to learn how to have that. Remove that puppy eye that you have permanently in your face, and learn to develop, going from like to this. You know, like Han Solo from Inglourious Bastard, where if you actually see him talk, he'll be talking nice, but then when he's talking about, you know, finding a Jewish person, he'll be like, and that intimidates people. And as long as you are justified in your anger, please show it. Please show it in your face. Please show that cold or Terminator face when they do something wrong. They need to see that. They need to sense your strength. Because think about it. You don't want someone who you could just easily throw off kilter, who you could just easily make them not think straight, who you could just easily fuck with them. You want to know why? Because it meant that if you could do it, somebody else in the past has done it, and maybe you're not over someone. Let me tell you something, man. Honestly, personally, I don't want to date someone who easily gets played. I don't want to date someone who believes everything that I say to them. I don't want to date someone who, when I do something wrong, you apologize to me. You want to know why? Because it meant somebody else who has even more weak intentions had full control over you. I don't want that. Like, if I know that somebody played you for years and you just kept going back to them because you feel you can't deal with the pain, I don't want to be with you. I just don't. It's almost like it's worse than it's almost like banging the whole football team and telling someone, right? It's kind of like, damn, like, you're that easy physically, but also emotionally, you're that easy to play. I don't want that. I just don't. It means maybe you love someone more than me, or maybe you're not over someone, because people who have weak emotional immune system have a hard time getting over people. A hard time. So it's kind of like it's no, I can't. And if you have a weak emotional response, just develop a meditation practice. You guys can do go to a 10-day meditation retreat, Vipassana. You guys can either purchase my course, Emotional Mastery. I'm gonna leave the link in the description down below. It's a course that I literally developed to develop your emotional immune system. Or you guys can go to a 10-day private 10-day meditation retreat. It's called Vipassana. Just go to I can't spell. Shut up, Melissa. DAMMAH.org. Oh Lord, let me find out about this, man. I don't think I'm putting it right. DHAMMA.org, right? And there you'll be able to find it and sign up for one. And it's one of the most powerful things you guys will ever do if you guys give it a shot. It helped me in ways that I can't tell you guys. I'm not tell you guys, but I can't describe it, because it just gives you so much emotional resilience. So much emotional resilience. Like, literally, I told you guys about the tinnitus thing. It literally helps me be happy in the situation that I can't control. Like, literally, you develop emotional resilience. So this, you will, like, people don't understand. When I go to meditation retreats, I always say, everyone looks hotter afterwards, because one, everyone loses weight, and two, everyone develops more emotional resilience. So you actually get better looking from inside and out. So go check it out. And if not, just purchase my course, or else I'm gonna have to close the channel. All right. Anyways, take care. All right. And if you don't do that, I'm closing the channel. I'm just letting you guys know I'm gonna close the channel. All right. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want to work with Father Alex one-on-one, go to myforattraction.org, or else I'll close the channel. Take care. All right, people, if you guys enjoy that type of content, if you guys want to work with me one-on-one, and you guys have some situations you guys want me to answer, maybe somebody's playing you, maybe somebody doesn't like you, maybe you want to make somebody like you, maybe you want to tell me your situation and see what I think, you guys can click on the description down below and purchase a one-on-one phone coaching call with me that is completely confidential and nobody knows about it. And there I'll be able to give you my personal opinion about your situation. And at the end of the day, when you work with me, you're gonna get answers, all right? The point is that you're not gonna waste your time. If you guys want to do that, click on the description down below. Those are the one-on-one private confidential phone calls. And if you guys want to be able to, for me to answer your questions, like you see in my videos where I answer questions, you guys can book an email coaching session, which is more affordable, and you guys can change things around and nobody will know it's you. And there you'll be able to get a one-on-one type of coaching, and I'll be able to post it on YouTube. And the beauty about it is that nobody finds out, because you could just change your name, people. You say you're in China, I'm gonna say you're in Australia. Nobody's gonna find out, people. Now, I wanna make it clear, the private one-on-one phone call are private, confidential. The email coaching calls, as you guys can see, are things that I post on YouTube. They're more affordable, and they let me post a video on it. As long as you change things around, nobody will know it's you. So don't be shy, man. I love working with people, and at the end of the day, it's my passion to help people. You guys have no idea how happy this makes me to be able to help you guys at an individual basis. And at the end of the day, you're gonna get my honest advice. A lot of people bullshit you just to bring you back as a customer. If you guys are looking for that honest advice, this is the guy for you. Okay? See you guys.